Hi, I'm Noel. I'm here to show you our new Easy Roundel Kit, which we've developed to make cutting circles from model aircraft covering materials quick, easy and accurate. You may have already seen our Gyro-Cut product, which is a unique cutting tool with a rotating hardened steel blade designed to cut intricate shapes from thin sheet materials. So what is the Easy Roundel Kit? It's a series of concentric laser cut circles. They range from 1 inch to 9 inch diameter and they're made from a high grade plywood material. You'll notice on this one I've actually numbered each disc, which makes it much easier to select the correct disc when you're cutting circles. You'll notice a hole in the middle disc. That's designed to allow you to take the disc out using the blade on your Gyro-Cut, and it's then easy to take each individual disc out whilst you're working. So what materials do we actually need to make roundels? We always work on a self-healing cutting mat. We use the Easy Roundel Kit, of course the Gyro-Cut for cutting the material. We recommend using a low tack spray adhesive to prepare the surface of our cutting mat, and that'll hold the material in place while you're cutting, and of course the material that we're actually going to cut. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to make a fairly straightforward 3-colour roundel. Each roundel has a specific ratio. In this case we're going to cut a ratio 2-4-6 roundel, and you'll notice I've got the 6-inch disc, the 4-inch disc and the 2-inch disc ready. I've also got the larger disc on each one, which makes it easier to hold the disc while we're cutting the circle. So let's get started and actually cut the 6-inch circle, hold the discs in place, get the Gyro-Cut in the right position, and we go round using moderate pressure and cut our circle, and you'll see that's cut that out perfectly. So let's now cut the 4-inch circle from white material. It's important to hold the discs firmly in place so that you don't end up with an oval rather than a circle. And finally we'll cut the inner disc from the red material using the 2-inch disc. So now we've completed the 3 circles we need for our 2-4-6 ratio roundel. If you're not sure about the ratio of the roundel you actually want to produce, you can find details on the internet. But it's not just great for cutting the circles out of material, it's also designed to easily line up each circle to produce your perfect roundel. So our large blue circle is now stuck down to our cutting mat and we're ready to align the 3 colours. We take our larger 6-inch disc and line it up with the outside diameter of the blue circle. We then insert the smaller discs down to the 4-inch diameter, which is the size of our next circle. Peel the backing off the material and without moving the discs, very carefully line the material up with the centre of the circle and stick it in place. We then place our smaller discs inside those discs, and the same process, we remove the backing, place the inner circle inside the disc, and now they're perfectly aligned. When we remove the discs, you'll see you end up with a perfect roundel. So that was an example of making a straightforward 2-4-6 roundel, but equally the Easy Roundel Kit can be used for much more complex roundels. For example, roundels with insignia to represent the air forces around the world, where you can pretty much create whatever you want with the Gyro-Cut. So here's an example of a graphic roundel. In this case it's the New Zealand Air Force. I've printed this off the internet and sized it so that it actually is a perfect size for your roundel. We take our Gyro-Cut and start cutting around the shape, being careful to follow the exact outline of the shape as you go. And using the appropriate amount of pressure to make sure that you cut through the material below. We've also stuck the photocopy down using tape so that it doesn't move whilst we're cutting. It may look complicated, but actually it's quite straightforward. The Gyro-Cut makes it pretty easy, and before you know it, you've got a perfectly cut out graphic. So here's the result, a perfect graphic roundel. So with a bit of patience and practice, you'll find it's possible to make pretty much any roundel you want. To order your Gyro-Cut, please go to www.trapletshop.com.